Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Cody Proctor. This is the KREM 2 News Week in Review, where each weekend we bring you headlines from the past week in the Inland Northwest. Let's get started with one of the biggest news stories of the past few days.
Tonight, folks made their way to Riverfront Park to kick off this New Year's celebration in a big way. Out with the old year and in with the new one.
The last year was tough, but we all got through it, and I'm just happy to be with it.
That's the mindset Diego Cordero Rios says he's in as he's visiting Spokane for the first time to visit family.
It's not what I was expecting. It's really nice.
Really nice as he says he got to see all Riverfront Park had to offer on New Year's Eve. That includes getting to skate at the skate ribbon with his friends, watching the pavilion lights shine as it got darker, and families enjoying the carousel. And to top it all off, catching a glimpse of the fireworks show at the clock tower, drawing every attendee's eye. Cordero Rios says the biggest surprise was how much there is to do for fun across the Lilac City.
The social life that they have, the food trucks, the food venues here, it just wasn't what I was expecting, but I'm glad to see it here.
Glad to see it here as he starts a brand new year surrounded by his loved ones before he flies home.
I'm going back to college and everybody's going their own separate ways, so I'm just happy to be with the ones I grew up with.
Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
The state will now decide how long Keegan Forshee, now 18 years old, will spend in custody. He was 17 when prosecutors say he hit Sarah Doxey with a car back in mid-July, a crime he admitted to Wednesday.
I am really sorry.
Judge Jeremy Schmidt stuck to the state sentencing guideline, 30 to a maximum 80 weeks in juvenile detention, though he said he wished he could do more.
We are talking about the life and its impact on each of you and the ripples that it had through our community, and then we're talking about a sentence of weeks.
One of those ripples was in Sarah's jogging partner, who was by her side in the moments she was hit.
All of a sudden, I felt a pain in my left arm. I turned around and as I said out loud, I feel like I said out loud, "What's going on?" Sarah had been on my left, I was on the right, and she was gone.
She says she saw a black car 20 feet away crashed into a tree. She watched as Forshee ran away, leaving Sarah on the street. Forshee's mother said he does understand the impact of his actions.
I have watched my lighthearted, funny son carry overwhelming remorse and grief. I see it in his eyes, and I hear it in his silence.
Doxey's family says no outcome would equal justice, but also told Forshee to use this to create a life that gives, not takes.
Until the day I die, I will spend time on that day praying for Keegan, praying he will become a man Sarah would be proud of, a man society will know as a good man who rose above his failings.
Well, Washington State is the highest state minimum wage in the country, and it's now going up by nearly 50 cents. And if you live in Idaho and use SNAP benefits for grocery shopping, you won't be able to buy items like soda and candy starting next month. The Washington State minimum wage is going up from $16.66 to $17.13 an hour. The reason? State law requires the Department of Labor and Industries to calculate what the wage should be depending on the rate of inflation. Based on LNI's research, they found a 2.8% increase in minimum wage from $16.66 to $17.13 is necessary. Minimum wage workers are excited for the extra pay, while small business owners we've spoken with say they worry for how that'll impact the local economy. In Idaho, SNAP benefits are no longer going to include soda or candy. The reason comes from Idaho lawmakers passing House Bill 109 into law. It removes these items to promote healthier food options for families across the state. The Idaho Department of Health and Welfare Director Alex Adams says this is to ensure public dollars are to help preserve public health. Retailers who accept SNAP benefits have until February 15th to update all their systems to flag those items and train cashiers on the changes. Now, USDA data shows roughly 20% of SNAP purchases are on these soon-to-be banned items. Lawmakers hope those funds will go towards healthier options as a result of this change. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
As we go to break, here's a check of your forecast. Welcome back to the KREM 2 News Week in Review. It has been a busy week all across the inland Northwest, so let's catch you up on some of the news you might have missed.
More than 100 justices have served on the Washington State Supreme Court, but there hadn't been a woman of color on the bench until 2014. Mary Yu is used to making history.
I love this court, and do I have mixed emotions about leaving something that I love so dearly? I do.
There'll be no contact in any fashion with the named victims.
Justice Mary Yu served on King County's Superior Court before then Governor Jay Inslee in 2014 appointed her to the state's Supreme Court.
To the best of my ability.
Her swearing in was historic.
Judge Yu will be the first Asian American, the first Latina, and the first openly gay member of the Supreme Court.
So being the first, what a great opportunity to remove some barriers, and what a great opportunity to say now to the next generation, I did it, and you know what, you can too.
At the end of the year, Justice Yu is retiring from what is today a much more diverse state Supreme Court. After hundreds of cases, one stands out for her.
Approved by the Supreme Court of the state of Washington.
The ruling to allow those with felony convictions, like Tara Simmons, admission to the state bar. Simmons served prison time on drug charges, but is now a licensed attorney and state legislator.
We want to give people an opportunity to do well, to have some incentive, and to be encouraged to change, to rehabilitate, and to be worthy to come back into society and to give us the best that they can.
I pronounce you formally and legally wed as wives and partners.
Justice Yu may be best known for officiating the first same-sex marriages in the state when it was legalized in 2012.
And first we go to Olympia, Washington to meet a state Supreme Court judge.
Hi, Jimmy.
The irony of her name, Mary Yu, being known for saying Mary Yu to so many, got her on Jimmy Kimmel Live in 2021. The clip is still up on the show's Facebook page.
Now here is a true confession for you. I didn't know who Jimmy Kimmel was at first.
But Justice Yu does know that now is the time for her to step down. She wants to travel, maybe teach, find another way to make history.
I trust the next generation. I've mentored a lot of people, and I'm confident that there's going to be somebody who's going to come here and just do a great job.
Washington's lifeline for information about the COVID-19 vaccine is no longer controlled by the state. This is what happened when King 5 called Tuesday.
Thank you for calling. This is Billy. How may I assist you today?
A voice answered, "Hi, is this the Washington Department of Health?" and hung up before we could ask any more questions. An official spokesperson with Washington State's Department of Health says you may be walking right into a scam if you call the old number. The state created the helpline during the pandemic to answer questions about the vaccine, direct people to vaccination sites, and access vaccination records. Now the state says some callers report that people on the other end present themselves as an expert before asking about payments and personal financial information. The department says it no longer owns or operates the line. A spokesperson did not answer King 5's questions by email Tuesday about how it lost control. Trained Office of Immunization Specialists are now answering the state's new official hotline, 1-866-397-0337. The department says it is unaware of any confirmed cases of financial loss connected to the former hotline.
The state says it's never going to ask for your banking information over the phone. If you have a caller asking for your payment info, hang up. In Tumwater, Alex McClune, King 5 News.
This weekend, I'm Cody Proctor. Right now, we're taking a look back at some of the news stories from the past week in this edition of the KREM 2 News Week in Review.
Really make sure your heel position is like where the white kind of meets the volume, I think.
Josh Jackman's happy place.
So put your left foot there.
Coaching climbing at Spokane's Wild Wall.
There you go.
20 years ago, he was on the wall.
In between climbs, you have a break. What are you going to do during that break?
Today, Jackman coaches from his wheelchair.
Climb with your eyes.
Offering advice from experience.
And according to the State Patrol report, they were going 86 miles an hour.
In July of 2007, Jackman nearly died.
I remember kind of a loud noise. I can remember feeling hot. And then for me, I wake up in October.
For more than 2 months, he was in a drug-induced coma, recovering from broken bones and internal injuries. The driver who ran into him died upon impact. That man was drunk. Impairment plays a role in more than half of the state's deadly crashes, which have climbed to rates not seen since the 1990s. A bill to lower the state's blood alcohol content threshold from 0.08 to 0.05 will be debated again in Olympia next year. Utah is the only state with that level, but more than 150 countries, including parts of Canada and Mexico, use that standard. State and federal research suggests there is impairment at 0.05. What does it take to get to that level? Well, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says for drivers on an empty stomach over a 2-hour period, for a male, somewhere between 3 and 4 drinks, and for a female, more like 2 or 3 drinks. According to newly released research from the Washington Traffic Safety Commission, when people were first surveyed about the law change, 54% supported it. But after learning more about what lowering the BAC could mean, 71% were on board.
It's not like a huge cultural shift to get people on board with this.
Josh Jackman thinks tougher laws and a lower threshold might have prevented his crash.
It's not going to change consumption, and it's not intended to. It's going to change your driving behavior. And you're like, oh, 0.05, huh? Not 0.08? Oh, let's make a plan before we go out. Then you want to get as much as your body over that heel.
For Jackman, coaching climbing gives him a chance to support his community. He looks at backing this push for a tougher DUI law the same way.
That community, and this is, this is also a part of community. How we choose to be responsible for each other, how we take care of each other, how we protect each other.
That survey included results from drivers across the state, 850, all 21 and over. We're told 20% thought the state already had a BAC limit of 0.05. In Olympia, Drew Mickelson, KREM 2 News.
The South King County area is home to the 3rd largest Somali population in the U.S., following Minneapolis and Columbus, Ohio. So when providers started reporting harassment in our state, officials took action.
This is the viral video from right-wing YouTuber Nick Shirley that started it all. The guerrilla-style door knock video shows him visiting daycares in Minnesota that are reportedly receiving funding from the federal government. He demands to see the children, and this is apparently inspiring people to do the same in Washington state. On Tuesday, Attorney General Nick Brown issued a statement condemning these actions, saying, quote, "Showing up on someone's porch, threatening or harassing them isn't an investigation. Neither is filming minors who may be in the home. This is unsafe and potentially dangerous behavior." 30,000 or so Somali Americans live around the South King County area. Mohammed Abdi, a Tukwila City Council member, says right now the community is in fear.
I've spoken to a lot of working families that are doing daycares, and they're very frightened right now. They're very scared, because they want to protect themselves, and they also want to protect the children.
He says leave the investigations to the professionals like the Department of Children, Youth, and Families.
If there's fraudulent things that are being done, by all means, look at that, and we don't stand with that. Look at that carefully.
DCYF said in a statement they take fraud seriously and that DCYF conducts unannounced site visits at every licensed childcare provider at least once a year. They also said they conduct random audits to confirm payments made to providers.
People cannot be pulling up to people's private property unannounced and not invited. It creates a harmful environment. It creates a lot of fear. It creates a lot of anxiety. And, this is why, as a council member, I want to speak out and change the narrative.
DCYF says providers who list Somali as their primary language only take up about 2.6% of the entire provider profile in the state. In the newsroom, Sharon Yu, King 5 News.
My resolution is to be able to place at state this year, and just become overall a better wrestler.
Probably graduating high school. That's pretty big for 2026. My resolution was to run 3 miles a day.
Completing Ironman this summer. If not that, just continue a healthy lifestyle, good sleep, good diet.
Move on with my own business. So it wasn't a great year last year, so try and kick on and have a more successful year in 2026.
I do want to be more intentional about like books I'm reading or things I'm listening to, and choose quality over quantity this year.
It's a new year. You could change a lot in your life in 1 year.
I just wish we could start banding together, helping each other out, and instead of bringing each other down as a community, we bring each other up.
I feel like it's going to be a good year. I feel like a lot of changes are going to come. I feel like this is a year for everybody.
Everyone just needs to be optimistic, look out for the good things in life and have a good time. It's easy to get down, but there's lots to look forward to.
I just look forward to another year of life and happy to do it.
Just getting out in the world. I'm turning 18 and probably going off to college. It's a little intimidating, but I'm excited and nervous at the same time.
Yeah, it's a lot going on, so a new relationship in my life, so I've got a lot to look forward to.
Look out for each other, take care of each other, take care of your neighbors, your friends, your family. Take care of somebody that maybe you don't know. Do what you can to help the people around you.
Welcome back. Before we wrap up this edition of the KREM 2 News Week in Review, we want to remind you that you can get the latest newscasts and weather forecasts anytime on KREM 2 Plus. It's free to watch and download for Roku, Amazon Fire, and on Apple TV. Now here's one more story before we go.
Why would so many people show up on a beach on the first day of the new year?
We're crazy.
We are
crazy.
And it's much colder this year than it's been in the past. The sun is shining, but the temperature feels sub-zero.
Today you're festive, tomorrow you're a nutcase.
The polar bear swim at Sanders Beach in Coeur d'Alene started informally, but over the years has grown to attract quite a crowd of people who come to watch and enjoy the fact they have warm, dry clothes.
I'm from Texas. I don't know how it gets too cold here. No way.
The key here isn't so much to swim as it is to stay warm. Some people have learned tricks along the way.
Recipe for success on this: hot chocolate and peppermint schnapps. 4 years of doing this and it works every time.
Once everyone's in place,
it's been the official clock for 4 years.
Or at least in a safe vantage point, the swim begins.
4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Thank you for spending part of your weekend with us on the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Be sure to keep it here on KREM 2 for more news and weather updates. I'm Cody Proctor. Thanks for watching.